So just to get a little background on us, I am married to Joshua's cousin, and I've known Joshua since he was a little boy, and not the easiest guy to deal with when he was younger. And I think that's his story. I think it was to the point where, Joshua was a kid that needed to find an outlet. And when I saw him when he was younger, it was a struggle for him. But then once this man found wrestling and he found the thing that was important to him, I think it's important for, the audience and our kids to see, like, what did that do for your life? Like, how did that change you? What did wrestling do for you?
Yeah, I mean, wrestling did a lot. I love wrestling, and it's provided so much to my life. It provided structure. It provided family. It provided, it gave me something to work for, right? But I love wrestling. I mean, I don't know. I love teaching. I love being able to, as much as I love wrestling, I love teaching wrestling, and I love giving back to the future generation. And I love giving back to the youth. And I feel as if God has given me a gift, and I feel like it's my duty and part of my duty in life to give back using this gift that God has given me. So, I mean, I love wrestling. I love teaching wrestling, and that's it.
Yeah. And what I saw when he was growing up was he loved to compete. It wasn't about it could be anything. It could be basketball. It could be anything. He just hated to lose more than he loved to win. Right. And I think was what I saw from him when he was 12, 13, 14. And then fast forward to when this wrestling thing started becoming a real thing for him. And then the recruiting process came in, and, he got recruited by Blair. He got recruited by all these schools. He could have left home and went there. He decided to stay local and go to Bambrook High School, which is almost about the same time where I started getting a lot of traction in the industry as far as the rehab world and doing all that stuff. And I took care of his entire team in high school. So, like, I had to think about that team. That team was crazy that you were on, right? Glasgow's and Scott Johnson and De La Cruz, all these guys that you had. You guys were winning all the time for a small school that was, pretty much off the map. And you guys made it something, right? You guys created a culture. And think about it. When you guys all left, right, it started slowly evaporating. So it's to the point where, like, culture is important, like all these things that he learned during that time. Then he goes on to go to college at the University of Maryland. That was his choice. He had a ton of choices to go where to go to college with. Why did you choose to go to Maryland?
Well, I chose to go to Maryland because when I took my visit, I seemed to get along with the coaches. I really liked the campus. It's a beautiful school. I wanted to get away from home to kind of experience what it would be like to be out of my comfort zone. And aside from, like, the scholarship and the other benefits that I got from it, I really enjoyed the school, the people, the team, and the culture that we had at Maryland. So, yeah.
So, and like that, that fast forward that to even, he comes home, wrestling's over. Now, now he starts working, right? Normal guy comes out, work, now he starts working. But then, like, that didn't fulfill him, right? It just didn't. He's a follower of Christ. He wants to help people. Then to where we are now, right? So now he takes a leap of faith and do something that he is good at. And I tell kids all the time, do what you're good at. Don't always follow your passion. That gets a little bit dicey sometimes. But when you do what you're good at, eventually you can fund your passion, right? But you have to be really good. I mean, keep on following what you're really good at. And Josh is really good at this. He's really good with kids. My kids love him. So I know, like, how he interacts with these guys. So can you talk about, like, the type of kid that comes here, that wants to train here, that wants to grow here? Like, what are you getting here, and what are you looking for?
Yeah, I think what you're getting here is you're getting a tight-knit culture, you're getting a community, you're getting a family. But overall, you're getting an atmosphere and environment that truly loves what they do, right? It's not a factory, right? It's not a come in, punch out. You come in here and you're laughing, you're smiling, but at the same time, you're putting the work in, you're sweating, you're grinding, and at the end of that practice, you're still shaking hands and smiling with those same people you put that work in. So what you expect when you walk into these doors is you expect family, you expect a culture, you expect hard work, but you expect just people who love wrestling. being around people who love wrestling and being around people who are going to uplift you and support you and push you in all aspects of life. And I think that you're getting more than just a wrestling club here. You're getting a culture that is looking to push you beyond the mat, because your identity doesn't lie within the outcomes of matches. Your identity lies within the character that is displayed on and off the mat. And I think that's what we're trying to push here. Good character on and off the mat.
And just, it's not only a wrestling club, but it's also mixed martial arts, right? So it's multi, disciplinary disciplines that you have here. So do you have like special, like certain coaches that do certain things that way? How do you structure it?
Yeah, so we have martial arts. We obviously have a martial arts program here too, where we have a kickboxing coach ran by TJ Hernandez. We have our boxing coach, Kyle Elliott, who actually was on Team USA, on the Team USA boxing circuit. And then we have our jiu-jitsu coach, Jordan Giuliano, and then our Muay Thai coach, Julian Selby. So we have a whole list of martial arts coaches that are expertise in each of their fields, that are going to help you become a well-rounded mixed martial artist here at the end of the day.
And just to rewind a little bit, I skipped an important part is when Josh came back, he did start training and he got interested in MMA. So now not only do you have to, he has the background of wrestling, but now you have to learn how to box, you have to learn how to grapple, you have to learn how to do all these different things that an MMA fighter does. And so can you just elaborate a little bit on your career doing that? Like, how many fights did you fight? How many wins? And what's that like training for something like that now that it's something that's completely out of your comfort zone in the beginning and then it became comfortable?
Yeah, I think right away I jumped right into my discomfort zone. So for jiu-jitsu, I learned to be in my guard. When I started to train MMA, I trained stand-up for 90% of my training. So while I was trying to build DURO, coach kids, also work a full-time job, I was also attempting to train and become a professional athlete. From 2020 to now, I've competed in several amateur fights. I competed in one professional MMA bout, and all this within trying to build DURO at the same time. Actually, until previously last year, last year where I tore my ACL training for my second professional MMA bout. And yeah, I forgot what the question was.
Yeah, just like as far as your career goes, as far as your fights, like talk a little about how, like, even preparing for those things, right? The amount of discipline that it takes while you're working a full-time job, while you're trying to build a business. I mean, for a young guy, like that's a lot, thing going. Plus, you have a fiance, right? So it's so many things going on at one time. Like it's really admirable to see like how being a wrestler ties into all that stuff. So what I have a lot of wrestlers in our offices that are very good, and I also have people that do other jobs, like they employ people, they're business owners, they have recruiting agencies, and they love wrestlers. Why do people love wrestlers, right? One, you can't beat a wrestler in a fight, right? Once you get into a fight with a wrestler, if they go to the ground, it's a wrap. It's over. Like, you cannot beat a wrestler in a fight. That's one, right? And the other thing that's really impressive about them is their level of discipline. I mean, you're talking about sometimes you got to lose like 10 pounds in like 2 days, 3 days. And I know, I even asked him one time like a few weeks ago, like, what's the best way for someone to lose that? Because we have that all the time. The kids come in moody, they come in, malnourished, they come in dehydrated, and you always were able to do it. You never stressed about it because you had a cheat code. Talk to a little bit about that weight loss. Like, how do you do it? Like, I know you did it with a water type of.
Well, we'll say this. I wasn't the best at cutting weight in high school, and really, to tell the truth, not even in college. But until I became a fighter and I started training for MMA, and I really had to have ownership over my own career as an MMA fighter, because I didn't really have a college coach or a high school coach to watch over me. I had to really I really need to hone in on my nutrition and really figure these things out. But with the help of some nutritionists, I really dialed in on the things I was eating, how often, how frequent I was eating, when I was eating, and how much water I was intaking. So I went from wrestling 174 in college to making my pro debut at 145 pounds. So along with some lifestyle changes, help with some nutritionists, I was able to kind of change the way my body looked and changed how much I weighed and really changed the way I performed. And so while I've always been disciplined and I've always had these traits, it just goes to show like there's always room for growth, even past college, past high school, past college. And I just think that it's important that even as a coach, even as a business owner, that there's always areas to improve in, there's always areas to grow in. So yeah.
Yeah, that's well said. And now that growth has given a rise to even better news, is that Josh is opening a brand new facility. It's going to be more interactive, better, bigger. And so talk about like where it is, what do you plan on doing that it's a little bit different? The excitement of doing this all over again, right? Because I've opened up many facilities, so I know like, the stress that's involved in getting it done on time and dealing with contractors and dealing with all these things. Mm-hmm. So like talk about, because that's a new thing for you to be able to go now to a bigger facility where now it's bigger responsibilities. Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's been fun. It's been a process, and between the town and permits and painting and cleanup, I'm so fortunate to have so many good people around me and so much help between families, my family, my wife, to help me through these things that at the end of the day, I get to do what I love every day, and that's teach a game. So if I need to paint a space that's going to be able to provide me more space for me to do what I love, at the end of the day, there's a quote that Dan Gable said, once you've wrestled, everything else in life is easy. So I feel like as much as we hear that, I feel like it's so true, because the characteristics, the traits, the values, the lessons that you're going to learn in wrestling, bar none and are almost parallel to life. So, yeah.
It's good. And also, we're here also to pretty much announce our partnership in how we're going to work together. So Radical Physical Therapy is going to be working with DURO, taking care of their athletes, getting them to where they need to be. We're well schooled on getting these kids healthy enough to have communications with their coaches and get them on the mat quicker and faster than everybody. When people ask me what do I do for a living, what I say generally is I get athletes that have injuries back faster than anyone else in the country, and we stand by that. So kids that on the mat, they're going to get scholarships. If they have all the right people in their corner, they're going to be able to do that. So communication is key, right? So when he needs a guy back, we say how long, how far. Same thing with, because you do have a team now. So it's something where you're not only a teacher, but you're also a coach, where you need guys to compete, to win, right? So it's the same thing when you're in Maryland, same thing when you're in Bound Brook, right? So these coaches need the athletes to compete and to win. So that's where we come in the equation, is getting these guys with communication, getting them to doctor's appointments faster than anybody, getting them an MRI faster than anybody, getting them to the doctors and the clinicians that really care and that love sports, right? And then know how to deal with sports. I think that's super important. So now we're going to have that type of symbiotic relationship where we have that. And obviously, this is the area, this is definitely, in our region, man, right here, to come and do your wrestling is here, and to come and do your mixed martial arts is here. So I think, it's going to be a good work in progress. And I want to just quickly bring in one of your wrestlers that you have here, just to talk a little about his experience that, he's had here with you and how he's evolved. All right, so this is Jojo Igneri. So more background. So I treated his dad when he was in high school, right? So think about it. You were 12 years old now?
Yeah.
So that had to be what? Joe, 20-something years ago?
Yeah.
So it says...
2, 3.
Right, so I'm dating myself here, but still, that's a long time. So that's pretty cool that I'm sitting next to your son after all these years, right? That's crazy. So, like I said, you've been here for... How long have you been training here? Approximately.
Year and a half.
Year and a half, right?
Yep.
So what can you say about now the facility and Josh and how you interact with the people that train here and how he is as a coach?
Yeah, it's great here. All the kids are really nice. They take good care of the younger ones. Josh is a great coach. The training here is really good.
I'm sure it's hard, right?
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
I think, in general, when a coach loves you, he pushes you. If they don't push you, they don't love you, right? So I think if you're in a place where you're getting pushed, that's really the right place, right? You never want to be the best guy in the room, right? Because you don't learn. So you always want to be somewhere where you're learning, so around other people that are better. That's why the older kids are great to watch, right? Because that's how you learn, right? So now, as far as what is your obviously your goal on going from here on with just in a year?
Just keep getting better, trying to win some big tournaments, and just get this arm healed.
What tournament you want to win?
Super 32.
Good. That's a good one. I remember when Josh did Super 32 for the first time, right? In Fargo and all that stuff. That was cool. So again, let's identify the elephant in the room, right? You had a little injury, nothing major, right? So it's a super small thing.
Yeah.
So it's just time. So like I said, how has being away from the mat affected you, and what have you been able to do since the injury to keep in shape?
I haven't been doing really a lot, but when I took a step back from wrestling, it showed how much I really loved it.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's hard to not do it, right? And when you see all these kids wrestling and going to states and stuff like that, you're like, damn, I want to be there. So, and that's the thing, we want to show you, now, you're going to come to us and you're going to say, so you can do things. I want you to be able to run. I want you to be able to do things. You need to get in shape. So when you go back to wrestling, you're going to be gassed, right? If you're not in shape. So you need to do hills and you need to run. There's nothing wrong with your legs, right? You could do a lot of different things and train, even though you have a bad wing right now. But, that's going to be, our thing. And we were like, all right, Josh is ready to roll. He's not. So we'll be able to do that stuff. But I understand as an athlete, it's very difficult to be away from it, especially at your age, because you're 12, and he's homeschooled, right? You know how much Ivan loves homeschool, right? So I think it's a huge advantage, right, for you. And you need to thank your parents for that, because that's a great decision by them to be able to do that, because they see how much you love this, right? So it's a great thing for you to be able to do and reach your athletic potential, right? My big thing is, my big word is optimize your chances, right? So whatever it is that you want to do and the thing that you're really good at, optimize your chances to do that. And right now, I think you're doing that. And I think you could probably do more, right?
Yeah.
So we could, like Josh was saying, we could always do more. So, I'm sure you create an asset for the younger kids, right? Because you get to teach them how to wrestle, right? The kids that are coming up, and so on and so forth. So, so you're young yet. So I don't think you know about high schools yet and all that stuff, which is going to come later. But that's not important right now. What's important right now is for you to just keep on getting better. And like I said, I'm proud of you, right?
Thank you.
So, and you have a good dad, because I know him for a long time.